We have started a series of sermons. We started it last week, Bad Words in Church. Last week we looked at the word last, and this week we're going to be looking at the word empty. These are words we consider bad or negative in our culture, but we can look at them in a different way through the eyes of Christ, through the eyes of the church. So today we're looking at Psalm 63, verses 1 through 6. And the psalmist writes, "You, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water. I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and your glory. Because your love is better than life, my lips will glorify you. And I will praise you as long as I live, and in your name I will lift up my hands. I will be fully satisfied as with the richest of foods, with singing lips, my mouth will praise you. On my bed I remember you, and I think of you through the watches of the night." This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Let's start with a word of prayer. Lord God, we thank you for this time that we can look at your word, and that we can look at what it means to be empty. Lord, we just pray that you would do a work within us as we look at your word. And as I've taught this morning, I pray that your word would be remembered, and things that we do not need to be remembering would be forgotten. And we just pray this in your most blessed name. Amen. So, the bad word today that we're looking at is the word empty. It is a bad word when your gas tank is this and you are miles away from a filling station, is it not? It is a bad word when you go to the cupboards for food and you find out the cupboards are empty. It is a bad word when you are Charlie Brown and you go to your mailbox on Valentine's Day and you find out that it is empty. Dictionary.com defines the word empty as containing nothing. Surprise there, huh? And one of the things that I got for Christmas a few years ago was this thing. It was not something I asked for, but it was a candy dispenser. And if you look at it, it is got 3 different compartments, and I've got it filled up pretty good this morning, except for one side, which I just didn't get to the store to get more. But these are peanut M&Ms. If you go around here, there's plain ones, and then there's these really cool ones. I don't know if you tried them. They're crispy mint ones. And I would eat one for dramatic effect this morning, but I have a throat thing that's going on, and I don't want to go that way. But it is a really cool thing. It's a pretty cool thing when you think about it. And it's cool when it's full, and it has candy in it, but not so cool if it has nothing in it, or if it would have raisins in it, because that would not be it. But it needs to be full to be something that is useful or cool. You know, we don't want our bank accounts to be empty, do we? And things have really gotten out of control, if you haven't noticed, with cost. And it seems like it takes 2 incomes anymore to make it ends meet. And with both parents working, the children come home to find the house, well, you guessed it, empty. And which creates a need for childcare, and then more income is needed, and the cycle gets pretty vicious, does it not? Now, I'm just talking about observance here. It is just me and my cat at home. But let me tell you, I would hear it from him, the cat I am talking about, if his bowl was empty. Sam does not like empty. And my mom had a cat. Jen was here this morning because she used to work at the vet clinic that my mom's cat would go to, and they would make a big deal about it because his name was Linus, and he was a 40-pound cat, if you can imagine. Huge. And he would always tell you if he could see the bottom of the bowl, he had to have full food covering the whole bottom of the bowl, not even a hint of being empty. Aren't we a little bit like that as well? And we ourselves, we don't want our lives to be empty. Not only are our bellies full, our calendars are also full. I know I have days that I go from event to event to event, from one thing to another thing. And I'm a single guy. I watch parents with young children. They meet themselves coming and going from different events. And our homes, a lot of times, are full of things. Countless things that we might not even use. And information, this is the information age. So much information is coming our way. We have 24-hour news if you turn on the cable. We have devices that we can just ask for the information. We have smartphones, tablets, desktops, laptops. And we are full. We are full. The question is this morning, are we too full? That empty might be a good word for us. I know empty is something I need from time to time. For you see, sometimes I can become so full that nothing else can enter in. And that is where I think we might be in danger. Have we become so full that there is no room for the Spirit to come in and do a work? Have we? Because you know what? Things that fill us can also distract us from what is very important. The psalmist is writing in Psalm 63, the 63rd chapter of the book of Psalms, about being empty, needing to be filled by the Spirit of God. The writer writes that their soul thirsts for God, and my flesh faints for God. The psalmist is empty. There is a real need to be filled by the presence of God. And the only thing that's going to suffice this psalmist, this writer of the psalm, is the Spirit of God. Look at verse 5 with me this morning. I will be fully satisfied as with the riches of foods, with singing lips, my mouth will praise you. We are a funny lot, are we not? And when we say we, I include myself completely there. We look to be filled, and we look to fill our emptiness with all kinds of things. Like, we try food. How many of you have comfort food that you go to? If you are like me with this, when things are tough, or I am feeling empty, there is nothing better than some good comfort food to fulfill. And then we become bigger and bigger, because you know what? Our comfort food is not celery or Diet Coke, is it not? It's probably not. And then we try stuff, and we rack up our credit cards and our debit cards, and we get debt. And the hard part is that we, as an American society, are taught to be consumers in a lot of ways. And we are taught that somewhat it is what we buy that fulfills. I wonder what the reaction would be if you walked around the streets of Saegertown and said, my soul is satisfied with God as with a rich feast, and my mouth praises the Lord with joyful lips. Some folks might say, okay, I'll be on my way now. But they would have no problem with someone saying, I'm feeling kind of low today. I think I might go down to the store up to Erie and get a new shirt for a pick-me-up. We tend to look everywhere but God sometimes for fulfillment. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to bring a guilt trip this morning. There is nothing wrong with stuff or shopping. I tend to like to shop. Amazon.com is a friend of mine. But when we go there for fulfillment, that might be where we want to start seeking God instead. What if when we are feeling empty, we turn to God instead? We try travel, don't we? Going to different places to fill up our time. When things get too chaotic, we just say we need to get away. And you know what? Sometimes that is true and good. But what if we just need to open ourselves up to God instead? We have gotten so far from thinking the way that the psalmist was writing or thinking. And one of the things that happens is that we are so far from being empty that we can never see God to fulfill us. We have a full calendar. Like I said before, our homes are full with stuff. We have full stomachs. We might not know what it means to be empty. To see God with all our heart, soul, and mind, like Jesus tells us to do. Maybe it is time to purge. Now, I don't know. I know I don't like the sound of that either. I heard a wise person say once that they had spent most of their time working and acquiring stuff in their life, and they got to the time of retirement, and the last part of their life, they have to spend time getting rid of it. I don't think that person is alone or unique in that. Our stuff distracts us, doesn't it, a lot of times? And sometimes we are so distracted. But what if we really attempted to fill ourselves with the Almighty? What if we stopped and listened? Let me argue today that we cannot really do the work of God if we fill our lives with other things. The book of Romans states this. It says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit." We need to be empty and not too full, so that God can fill us with these things of hope and joy and peace. The book of Ephesians says, "Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit." We need to free ourselves from our stuff and the things of our life, so that we can be filled with God. Jesus offered the woman at the well living water so that she would never be thirsty again. The psalm that we looked at today tells us that it is God who fills, it is God who satisfies. And when we try to fill ourselves up with other things, it just doesn't work. Jesus says in the Gospel of John, he says, "Let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink." When we allow ourselves to be thirsty, do you ever really allow yourselves to be thirsty? I was talking to a friend recently, and his wife has a background in plants. And she's actually studied plants in college. And he says that she is really, really good with plants. She has a green thumb like no other, and she can make any plant grow. But he says he thinks her secret to her success with plants is that she waits for the plants to get thirsty, that they are empty and they need watering. My friend tells me, and he's guessing at this, he says, "I guess that many of us overwater our plants so that they do not grow. They don't grow in the right way." Could it be like that for us too? For us spiritually? That we are so overwatered by other things that we don't grow right. I have to be honest, sometimes, a lot of times, that's true for me. So, then this bad word of empty might be a good place for us to be. It could be a good starting place, anyhow. Some of us will need to work through things and get rid of a lot of garbage and stuff in our life so that we can be more receiving of who God is. But God does want to do work within and through us. Just look at the scriptures. It's all through the scriptures. It communicates that. So, are you empty today, wanting to be filled? Do you need some help with purging some of the stuff in your life? You know, it would be great if this candy dispenser was self-filling, would it not be? And you never had to worry about going to the store and getting more M&Ms or candy or whatever. But when it comes to us, we as people, sometimes it's going to be important for us to self-empty so that our focus can be on God. If you think about it, the tomb was empty so that we could be filled. Empty is a good place to be. Because when we are empty, we can be filled. Filled by a living God that loves us, who challenges us, and transforms us into the people that we are meant to be. Let's pray. Lord God, we thank you for the opportunity to worship with one another. Help us to hold each other accountable so that when we are getting too full or too distracted, we can empty ourselves out and welcome you in and do a good